Hey there, and welcome. So today, we're going to follow a journey that starts in a place we all know pretty well, your trash bin. But where that journey ends, well, that's about to be completely transformed by a new East African standard that's going to affect all of us. Let's dive right in. So this is the logo for the East African Community, or the EAC. They've just rolled out a really bold new plan to standardize how we manage our non-hazardous waste all across the partner states. It's basically a unified game plan for a much cleaner environment.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? You throw something away, the truck shows up, and poof, it vanishes. But where does it actually go? What's its story after it leaves your hands?
Well, that whole story is being completely rewritten. And you know what the most important part is? You're the main character. The very first step of this brand new journey begins right at the source. And that means it starts with you.
Okay, let's get into the specifics. This new framework is officially called the Draft East African Standard 1311-2025. This is the document that lays out all the new requirements for managing non-hazardous waste. You know, the everyday stuff from our homes, our businesses, and our schools. And just to be clear, this isn't some small little tweak. It covers the entire life cycle of waste. I mean, from the moment it's created to how it's sorted, collected, and transported, all the way to how it's finally recycled, recovered, or disposed of. It is a complete system overhaul.
All right, so let's really focus on that first and honestly most critical step. This entire system really depends on what happens before the waste even leaves your front door or your office. It all starts at the source.
So even before we start talking about sorting trash, the standard brings up this really powerful idea. What do you think source reduction actually means?
Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. The absolute best way to manage waste is to just create less of it to begin with, right? This means things like choosing products with less packaging, or things that are built to last longer, or things with fewer toxic chemicals. The big idea here is that the journey of your waste starts by making that journey as short as possible. Okay, now for what's probably the biggest change you're going to see in your day-to-day routine, the 3-bin system. This is where your role becomes super hands-on and just incredibly important.
The standard now requires that every single person who generates waste, yep, that's all of us, has to separate our trash into these 3 basic categories. So no more just throwing everything into one bag.
And here is the system itself, all broken down. It's actually pretty straightforward. Blue is for your dry recyclables. Think plastics, metals, that kind of stuff. Green is for anything biodegradable. You know, food scraps, yard waste. And then black is for the general waste that's left over. It's a simple system. Clear colors, clear purpose.
Now this is a really critical detail. The standard is very clear about this. Biodegradable waste should never be thrown away in plastic bags. So, if you use a plastic liner in your green bin, you actually keep the liner and just dump the organic waste itself. This is so important to prevent contamination and make sure it can all be composted properly.
Okay, so you've done your part. You've sorted your waste perfectly. Now what happens? Let's follow the journey to the next stage.
The process from here is really systematic. Your waste will get picked up right from your door at scheduled times. From there, it's moved in special vehicles to what are called transfer stations. And then finally, it's taken to the facilities that are designed to handle each specific type of waste. This quote, straight from the standard, points to a huge upgrade in how this is all handled. So, no more open trucks with trash spilling out onto the streets. The new rule demands that these transport vehicles have to be completely covered. This prevents spills, cuts down on smells, and just generally keeps the waste out of sight. It's really all about bringing a new level of cleanliness and dignity to the whole process.
So, we finally reached the end of the journey. This is where all that careful sorting you did really pays off. It's where we stop seeing waste as a problem and start seeing it as a resource. And this is the payoff, right here. The stuff from your blue bin, it goes on to become new products. The contents of your green bin, that gets turned into valuable compost for farming. And only what's left in the black bin goes to a final disposal or recovery site. So you see, your sorting directly feeds this whole new circular system.
But you know, this new standard isn't just about sorting bins and picking up trash. It's about being smarter. It's about using information to build a much better system for the future. For the very first time, waste management officials are going to be required to keep really detailed records. They're going to track everything, from how many homes are actually being served to the exact types of waste being produced and how much is being successfully recycled or composted.
And the goal? It's this number right here, 100%. A system that is 100% guided by data. Because that information lets us create much smarter environmental policies. For example, if the data shows that one neighborhood produces a lot of food scraps, well then officials can decide to build a local composting facility right there. That creates jobs and cuts down on transport costs. It moves waste management from just guesswork to an actual science. So, there you have it. We followed the journey all the way from your bin to its final destination. We can see how a simple act, like sorting your trash, can create valuable resources and provide game-changing data. The whole chain reaction starts with that single choice you make. The only question left is, how will you change the way you start that journey?